With your School Vision time clock, your students will be able to clock in and out using their fingerprint or a student code that you create. So you have both options in here because it is a biometric time clock. They'll be able to scan their finger here. It'll thank them for clocking in, confirm the date and time, and also display their total cumulative hours, which helps them stay up to date with how many hours they have. You'll be able to enroll your students right from the time clock when they're new. You'll be able to click Enroll Fingerprints, select their name from the list, and set up their fingerprint to be able to start clocking in and out. Again, the keypad on mine is on here just to display how you can also use a student ID code or a swipe card, but ideally you'll want to enroll your students in here, set up their fingerprint so that they can simply just place their finger down and clock in. They'll do the same thing when they're clocking out. So when they're clocking in, it turns green just like this, and that just helps them be able to see right away that they clocked in. But at any time when they clock out, this actually is red, and so it'll be red instead of green. It'll thank them for clocking out, and it always displays the hours up to date. You could turn off the display for the hours up to date, but having it on really helps with the students staying on track and knowing how many hours they have. You also have an Am I Clocked In button right in here on your time clock, so you can leave this button turned on for your students if you're okay with them coming in here and being able to see who's clocked in and who's clocked out. So this is helpful in the sense that if they forget whether they clocked in or not, they can quickly check here instead of creating double punches or clocking themselves out. So anybody in green is clocked in, anybody in red is clocked out. A lot of schools will password protect this, so only staff members are able to access that button, just so that students are not able to see whether other students are clocked in or not. So that's completely up to you. It's still helpful to have so that your educators or any staff members can just walk up to the time clock and quickly check who's clocked in or not. Same thing with your Enroll Fingerprints. This would be secured so that only the authorized staff members would be able to enroll the students there. From your student's perspective on the actual time clock, this is all they're going to see on the screen. They're just going to see the please scan your finger, the enroll fingerprints down here, and the Am I Clocked In. Again, right over here, all they're going to be doing is placing their finger down, and that's going to go ahead and either clock them in or clock them out. And then right over here, you're going to have their hours up to date. Again, the hours up to date is a feature that you can turn off if you don't want to display it. Now, from your admin computers or any computers that you choose, you'll have the same program installed, except that you'll also have additional tabs, more of an administrative version of your School Vision time clock. So you'll still have the time clock on there if you needed to use it, but you're also going to have additional tabs, manager settings. You'll be able to come in here and really take a look at a student's time. So you're going to have the time tab right over here. You're going to be able to see all of the students' time here. I can see everybody that's clocked in. I can see the folks that have already clocked out. And this is also where you can come in and make changes to the student's time. And so if I know that, for example, Eric here actually came at 11, I can update that time, or I can create a new punch for him. So adding item, you'd be clocking somebody in or out. Updating their time, you'd just be making a change to the current time punch that's already there. So I can go here and go update item and change this to 11 o'clock. It's going to go ahead and show you the student's name, going to show you what course or program they belong to, and so forth. So this is where your registrar or your dean will be spending most of their time at reviewing time. They can print out time clock reports. They can review all of the time punches that are in here, and they can create entire new punches. So if for whatever reason the time clock, somebody couldn't use it, it was down, something came up, you'll be able to manually enter time in here if you ever need to. And then in your manager student area here, this is where you'll have all of your students' information entered. So all of your students' names would be here. You'll also have all of their courses in here, so you'll be able to completely manage the programs and courses that you have and be able to enter their schedules in here so that the system knows scheduled versus attended and then is able to provide you those type of reports. So on the course schedules here, you'll be able to have all of the programs here and tell the system what days of the week they're expected to be there, what time they're expected to clock in, what time they're expected to clock out. And then you can create allowances too. So if you want to create rounding rules, if you want to be able to round the time, create any type of rules, for example, locking out the time clock after they're late more than 30 minutes or something like that. If you have any of those type of policy and procedures, you can enter that information into the system so that that allows you to follow through with that and automatically round the time for you. It can automatically deduct the lunches as well if that's something that you're able to do in your state. So lots of options in there when it comes to your courses, but this is where all of your students' information will be. You'll be able to look up your students here. You can enter notes. You can look at their attendance. You can manage their time and attendance in here too and really quickly print out a report. You'll also be able to enroll fingerprints here or remove their fingerprint if you don't want them to be able to clock in and out. You're also able to, if you're deactivating one of the students, you're able to select whether you're deactivating them because they're going on a leave, because they're a drop, because they're a grad. That way you have the appropriate reports to be able to determine your percentage of drops or your percentage of grads, or if you want to still have somebody in the system but they're taking a leave of absence, then once they return from their leave of absence they just get reactivated. So lots of options within there. And then the other portion where you'll spend a lot of time at is your reports. And so within your report section here, you're going to have a very specific category that you're going to be spending your time at, which is the school and time category. And this is where all of your reports will be. So once you start having data in your system, you'll be able to really come in here, run reports, determine which reports work best for you. So the most popular report for the attendance would be the student cumulative attendance report. And any of the reports in here will allow you to run the reports for any time parameter. So right in here, I can select my start date, my end date. You could run it for all your students or your entire school. You can select one specific program or course or one specific student if you're doing that. Like if you're doing a progress report or meeting with a student and need that information only for them, you can do that. Otherwise, you can do all, click view, and that generates that report over here right to the right hand side, which will then allow you to be able to print it, email it to yourself, email it to anybody else. Let me make this a tad bit bigger for you here so that you can see that. But you'll be able to see the students' names. If you have permit numbers to report, you can do that. If you have to report their social security numbers, we can switch that to social security numbers instead. But it'll display original start date, their current status, whether they're active or inactive students, because the state will require if they earned hours in that month, you still have to report their hours, whether they're at this point drops or inactives or whatnot. So if you have to do that, that's why that section is there. It does give you month to date hours and then total accumulative time. So you can quickly print this out. You can send it by email and it'll send it as a PDF or as an Excel format. So depending on how you want to have that sent to you, you can do that. And then the best part about the reports is that once you start figuring out which reports work best for you, or you find yourself coming in here once a week running specific reports, then you can start scheduling those reports to be automatically sent to you or to anybody else. And so right in here on the scheduler, you can see all the reports that I already have scheduled, but you can create new schedules. So you can click add right in there, select the name of the report that you'd like to receive by email or send to anybody else by email. Select whether you want to receive it daily, weekly, or monthly. If you select daily, it's going to allow you to select what time of the day you receive that report. If you select weekly, you can select multiple days or just one day out of the week. And then monthly also allows you to select 2 dates. So if you wanted it bi-weekly, you can do like the 1st and the 15th right in there. But you can really select this, and then of course you'll automatically get those reports by email instead of having to log on, which is nice because then you're able to access your reports from anywhere that you're able to access your email, your phone, any of your mobile devices. We do include one remote access connection with every account. You can purchase additional ones. The one that's included we'll set up for you, and that will allow you to connect over to your SchoolVision software and run reports and manage your entire system from your phone, from your tablet, or any home laptops, in addition to having it installed at your school. So you'll be able to run the reports with your remote access, but if you did want those to be automatically emailed to you or to anybody else that doesn't have access, you can set that up as well. And so this is more what would be on your admin computer. You're still going to have access to your time clock from your admin computer itself, but at the actual time clock station where the students are going to be clocking in and out, this is all they're going to see right in here.